What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Reading, Writing, and Rain. I am your host, 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚, and we're going to get into 5 PREPTOBER tips for NaNoWriMo. So, first tip we got here is to know your goal. What is your goal? Do you want to participate in NaNoWriMo, hit that 50K in the month as a winner of Nano proper? Then I say go ahead into the website, declare your project, and get down to the nitty-gritty with everybody else. Do you want to rebel? Do you want to write poems, or do you want to write 30K, or do you want to just write something and whatever happens at the end of the month, that's what happens? Then, still declare your project if you want, but I'd say just write. There is this big digital virtual community happening during this writer's retreat as it is, but figure out your goal. And also, you want to know, are you working on a pre-existing work in progress, or are you working on something that's brand new? If it's pre-existing, more than likely you've already done the work to outline, to prepare, maybe even wrote a couple chapters or something. If that's the case, get back familiar with that project, read it over, immerse yourself in it again, make notes of things that you may want to change, maybe review your outline and make sure it's still up to your standards. So you want to get back familiar with that particular world and that story. And if it's brand new, this is the time to get those details squared away. We're still in PREPTOBER, though we're towards the end. You want to make sure you have your characters together, your story beats, your ending. That is key. Well, it's up to you, but I find it easier to write knowing what my ending is or about what it'll be. But have those details done. As a planner or a planner or pantser, it's just get it out, get that preparation done now, so once November 1st hits, you can hit the ground running, and you won't have to go back and do all this work that could have been done even if you wait until like the last weekend of PREPTOBER. Next, you want to make a schedule. Look at your life. Are you a parent? Are you a dog parent? Do you have a lot of plants you take care of? Do you live in a multi-generational family home? Do you have roommates? Do you work odd hours? Look at your life and take stock of what is important and what does your daily life look like. The last thing you want to do is look at that 1,667 words per day for 30-day word count and say, oh yeah, I can do that. But then, oh, you work a double on a Tuesday, then you have daycare on a Thursday, and then you have to go help out grandma with something. Like, there's so many things that could get in your way. So you want to take stock of your life and figure out where you can actually find time to write, because making it a priority is important, but you don't want to lose sight of the rest of your life just to get these words on a page. And you want to be responsible with your time. So once you've identified all of the things that are paramount to your day-to-day life, are there things that are going on that will interfere with your writing? And once you identify those days and that time, I'd say pull out a calendar and you'll make it a note so you can physically see the time that you have left to you to write. And then you want to be reasonable with your time. You may want to write 1,667 words every day, but if you can only write for 3 days 1 week, 1 day for the next, and maybe 5 days for the following, you want to capitalize on the time that you do have. And don't beat yourself up. Some people win, some people lose. I've done Nano, I'm thinking for about 4 or 5 years now. I'd have to sit down and really think, but I think 4 or 5 years, I've never won. I've come close to winning, and I've quote unquote won or hit the word count right after Nano, but I've never won. And I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but you want to make sure that when you're looking at your schedule and your life, you're capitalizing on all the time that you have. What I tend to do is use the Notes app on my phone, and if a new idea hits me, I'll put it in there, save it till later. So when I do sit down and write, I've already fleshed it out a bit. Oh, Tom goes to the store. Someone tries to rob the store and he helps Miss Susie. Simple as it might be, getting that out right now, putting it in my notes template, writing down somewhere. When I sit down to write, I'm not now working through this brand new idea or trying to figure out what was that thing about Tom that I said. No, it's already there. So capitalize on your time. 2 hours, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Capitalize on your time. All right, so the next tip is being organized. You want to be organized. Figure out where will you be writing. If you have a workspace at home, a lot of us have been working from home since the panini started, then maybe you could use that space. If that's too much, like reminding you of the 9 to 5, perhaps a place in your bedroom. Maybe you have a cozy chair you're writing in, even in the closet. And that may be silly, but as a podcaster, I do understand the importance of having that secluded space that is sound adjacent to help you get your thoughts and stuff out. So wherever it is, you want to make sure you have your space organized and clean to your liking. If you work better with a cluttered space, then by all means go ahead. But for the most part, you want to make sure you have your space where you'll be and have it as clean as possible so that you can focus on the task at hand. Now, preparation are the keys to success. You want to make sure that you have all of your notes and all of your tools handy. I would suggest maybe getting like a little tote bag, maybe a shoebox, something where you have all your pens and pencils, loose leaf paper, if you use that, washi tape, sticky notes, all of that, like keep it together someplace close. Everyone doesn't have a desk to sit at home and write and work from, but make sure you have all of that information together, specifically your notes. Some people may have sticky notes with notes on them. Some may have a 70-page notebook. Some may have construction paper. However you compiled your notes for your story, keep those together. It'll make things so much more easier, smoother. Either way, you want to make sure to set yourself up for success. So instead of finding ways to possibly be distracted, looking for a pen, looking for that one note, finding this one thing, having a Netflix show pop up, something, you want to keep all of your stuff together, be as organized as possible so that when November 1st hits, you can hit that ground running. The other part of this is to make sure that the people in your life understand that this is important to you. Some people may not understand it. Everyone's not a writer. Some folks think you could just pump out a book in a weekend. That's neither here nor there. The people in your life who you know you'll be in contact with, who may be a distraction, you want to let them know, hey, during this time, this is what I'm doing. If that's not possible, of course, you want to kind of adjust, adapt to your surroundings. But for the most part, if you're living at home, if you have a spouse, if you have kids, take whatever precautions you need to take to make sure that when you sit down to write, you get most, if not that entire block of time to you and your writing. I know it's easier said than done for some folks, but whatever you can do to make sure that you make sure that you limit the distractions. That's what's most important. The next tip is to figure out which word processing application you're going to use. I know we've used Microsoft Word throughout my entire life. Ever since computers have been around, we've been using Microsoft Word. So if you're using a Microsoft Word route, you want to make sure that you are saving and backing up your work. Same thing with any other word processing application, but that's the most common. I know that there is Scrivener, which is available for purchase. I believe it's $49, but I did see that, and I think this happens every year for NaNoWriMo, there is a 50% discount for all NaNoWriMo 2022 winners. It goes on to say, if you achieve your word count goal to become a NaNoWriMo 2022 winner, you will be eligible for a 50% discount of the regular license of Scrivener. Normally $49. Details will appear on the winner goodies page at the start of December. Now, there's also an additional discount of 20%, and this is for everyone else. Now, even if you don't reach your target this year, you can still get a 20% off the regular price of Scrivener by entering the discount code NaNoWriMo 2020. NaNoWriMo 22 into the coupon code text field on the website. And this is directly from Scrivener's website. So if you are interested, maybe you've seen folks use it, you've watched some YouTube videos, you've kind of familiar with it, and you didn't know if you should really pull the trigger, buy the product, this would be a good time to do so. If the price maybe was an issue for you, because there are 2 different discounts. I think that's when I got my first, got Scrivener, was during that. I think it was. Now, lastly, one thing you want to consider is what happens after Nano. What happens? So now that you've won or lost, regardless, you've gotten words on the page, what are you going to do next? Will you continue writing? Is this something that you want to do? Is this something you're doing just for yourself, maybe just for friends and family? Figure out if you maybe want to self-publish, traditional publish, or what have you. But consider, and you may not know fully right away, but you do want to kind of consider, okay, after Nano is done, even if we're not talking the publishing route right now, just as bare basic as we can get, whether you win or lose, do you continue writing? Do you maybe write another book? Is this just an exercise in getting a project done for you? So it kind of ties back into your goals. What do you want from Nano? Do you want to complete the 50K? Do you want to have a full book? Are you going to be a rebel and maybe write poems or short stories or whatever? But at the end of Nano, will you proceed? Is this going to be a habit for you? Are you going to only participate during Nano? Will you maybe look forward to some of the other Nano camps throughout the year, which I think is April and July? But yeah, consider what do you want to do after Nano is done. Also, I would consider taking some time away from your work, whether you're going to continue on, if this is just a side project or whatever your attitude may be. Consider maybe taking a step away from writing or taking a step away from your book for maybe a week or so and coming back at it with fresh eyes. A lot of time, if you put time between you and your project or you and something, you come back with those fresh eyes, it gives you a new perspective. And whatever you do, just make sure to have fun. You may reach that goal of 50K, you may not. If you're being a rebel, you may meet your intended goal, you may not. What's most important is that you get those words on the page. If you don't put no words on the page, you can't edit. So it's better to have something, even if it's crap, something to edit. Make sure to check out these vlogs that I have up. Subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. Check the hashtag, check the podcast, all that good stuff. And leave in the comments, are you participating in Nano? Do you feel prepared? Has Preptober kicked your butt that bad?